Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. Today I am sharing a creamy chicken enchilada soup recipe with you today. It seems a little weird because it's about 452 million degrees outside, but I really wanted to share this soup so that if you wanted to prep it for fall, it makes a really great freezer meal as well. So it makes it quick, easy, and just, dump it all in the pot once the base is made. So let's just get to it. Okay, so for this chicken enchilada soup, you need two stalks of celery. I already washed them. You need a medium carrot, you need a red bell pepper, and you need a small onion. I don't have a small onion. I only have like this leftover piece of onion, so I'm just going to use what I have. And all I have to do is dice all of this up. So now that I have our veggies all chopped, you don't really have to worry too much about how they look. They don't have to match really. You just need to dice them up because we're actually going to be blending this all at the end. So we are going to cook these over medium heat for about 5 to 6 minutes in some butter until they soften. And to this mixture, I'm gonna add a couple of cloves of garlic. I don't actually have like the super fresh garlic, I just have like this already minced stuff. So I'm just gonna put in a few teaspoons of that. We like a lot of garlic. So while this is cooking, I'm just gonna pull out oregano, cumin, however you want to say it, and chili powder because so once this is soft, so after about 5 minutes, I'm gonna add these spices in here. Okay, so these have been softening for about 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start to add in the seasonings, the spices. So the first thing I'm going to add in is cumin. I'm going to use about, whoops, I dropped my spoon. I'm going to use about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. Well, I guess 2 teaspoons because that's what I did. Of cumin. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of chili powder. Oh, that's about all I have left. And I'm going to use about a teaspoon of oregano. Oh, I guess a little more because I spilled some. And I'm just going to mix all this in. So now I'm also going to mix in just a regular can of diced tomatoes. This is technically supposed to be like Rotel or fire roasted tomatoes, but I didn't have it. So I'm just using a regular can of diced tomatoes, and I'm just adding a can of green chilies. And then I'm also going to add in 1/4 cup of tomato paste and 4 cups of chicken broth. So I am just going to mix this up. And then I'm gonna bring this to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, I'm gonna turn down the heat just a little bit and I'm going to let it simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so this has been simmering for about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna remove it from the heat and I'm going to blend it up. Okay, so this mixture is super hot, so you have to be careful. I actually put on an apron so that I wouldn't get splatter everywhere. But if you do not have one of these little handheld blenders, you can wait for this to cool and put it in a regular blender and blend it that way. It just takes longer because you want to wait for it to cool off before you put it in your blender. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this part. So now that this is all blended up, you can freeze it just like this and use this base later. Just make sure you cool the soup before you put it in your container and then freeze the base. And then you could just add the rest of the ingredients later. Now, if you want to keep this more of a vegetarian meal, then you would just add in the other ingredients and leave out the chicken. But we're also going to be putting like cheese and all that in here too. So I'm going to wash a can of black beans and I'm going to wash a can of kidney beans and I'm going to strain a can of corn so I can mix it in here. Okay, so again, this is 1 can of black beans, 1 can of kidney beans, and a can of corn. And I'm just going to add that in. And then again, you could just add cheese after this, and this makes a really good soup as well. But I'm gonna add some chicken. We just need to add the chicken and the cheese. And again, if you wanna make this more of a vegetarian meal, you would just add the cheese now and be done and eat it. But I'm gonna add chicken to ours. You usually wanna use about 2 cups or so of cooked chicken. What I love about it is that I had this shredded chicken left over from a different meal, so I'm just going to add what I have left into this soup so it doesn't go to waste. Also, if you ever shred chicken and freeze it, that makes it easy as well. And then you could also buy those already cooked chickens and just shred it yourself to throw in here to make it easier. But I don't know how much chicken this is. I'm just going to add it all because there's no point in me saving any. And then I'm just going to add some cheese. So normally I would use like a Mexican blend cheese, but I don't have any of that, so I'm going to use cheddar cheese. And I've done that before and it tastes just fine. And then for cheese, I usually add around a cup of cheese, sometimes a little more. Nah, I'm going to say it's good. And then I'm just going to mix all of this up. Let the cheese melt. And then you can add this back to the stove just to heat all the ingredients up together. And then it's pretty much ready to eat. And that is pretty much the meal. So it's really, really good. I like to make homemade corn tortilla chips to go along with this soup. It's really good. And homemade corn tortilla chips I just think taste so much better. Even if you make your own corn tortillas to turn into chips, super good. And corn tortillas are really easy to make. But anyway, this is done. I'm just gonna heat it through just a little bit to make sure that that cheese and that chicken gets heated up. Okay, so that is creamy enchilada soup. Again, I like to serve this with homemade corn chips. I have a corn tortilla recipe. I will link it in the description box. If you want to watch that, all you would do is you would make those corn tortillas and then fry them up in some oil and serve them with this meal. And it's really, really good. Again, it feels a little weird making soup when it's, 450 million degrees outside, but I thought it would be nice to kind of get a head start on fall recipes. And also, this is a very easy base to freeze. So if you just freeze the base of the soup and freeze some already cooked chicken, all you have to do is add a couple of cans, heat it up, and serve it. So it could also be a really quick meal once the base is already made. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day.